Toastmasters and our guest Yasna. There is one current trend right now where a majority of organizations are hopping on that bandwagon and getting involved trying to make a difference, and that trend is green meetings. Working for the Department of Environmental Quality's Office of Compliance Assistance and Pollution Prevention, I have had several opportunities to work on a variety of projects, including greening meetings. In 2007, I was contacted by the National Air and Waste Management Association to help green their 2009 conference. I'm going to refer to this organization from now on as ALMA, because it's a mouthful. For their 2009 conference, it took place in Cobo Center in Detroit and had over 2,000 attendees, 150 exhibitors, 180 technical sessions, plenary sessions, and receptions. So what do all these numbers mean? Basically, the potential for an environmental impact was significant enough that they wanted to make efforts to minimize those impacts. And with them being an environmental organization and having that as part of their mission, this was very important for them. I'm going to take you through the steps that we took to create the green initiatives and create an environmental pledge. Our first step was to develop a green team. This can include anybody who wants to have input and are decision makers for the program. For the ARMA conference, we had DEQ, which was myself. We had the United States Environmental Protection Agency, industry, consultants, and Cobo Center was involved. EPA was the critical partner because they were involved with Cobo the previous year for the 2008 Brownfields conference that took place there. And the significant thing that happened at that conference, it was Cobo's first time to pilot a recycling program. So they're a little far behind compared to other convention centers in this country and in the world, but at least they took their first step there, and the US EPA's involvement with that was very helpful in our effort to green this conference. Once we got the commitment, you had to start from the top and work with the environmental planners. And if you don't get the top's commitment, it might ruin your chance for getting your time and resources necessary to carry through your goals. So we decided to meet with the top managers and the conference planners, narrow down our goals. We narrowed it down to 4 goals and got their commitment, posted it on the website so everybody knew this is what we were going to do. The first of the 4 goals was reducing our carbon footprint by purchasing carbon offsets. And for those of you that don't know, a carbon offset is a project that's implemented to reduce the level of greenhouse gases that enter the atmosphere. So it's important to realize that it's not really reducing our actual emissions, but it's allowing you to be responsible for those emissions that you can't avoid. Carbon offset projects can include investment in renewable energy, such as solar and wind energy efficiency projects, such as retrofitting buildings with more energy efficient systems, or planting trees to absorb emissions from the atmosphere. For the AMA conference, we went with the tree planting route and partnered with TIST.org, who organizes small groups of subsistence farmers to plant trees in Kenya, Uganda, and India. There's our tree planters. Our second goal was to implement an expanded recycling program at Cobo. It can happen. I had no idea going into this what I was getting myself into, and that to actually make an expanded recycling program at Cobo happen, we needed one of these. Can you tell we had a lot of engineers on our team? This is a responsibility matrix. Believe it or not, we had to work with several groups to make this expanded recycling effort happen, including AMA's headquarters, which is the national organization, ABM Janitorial, which is the janitorial service for Cobo, NPR Recycling, which actually provided free recycling pickup and provided the toters that we needed to provide this extra recycling, our local volunteers, and then Aramark, which was the catering company. Why did we get to do all of this? Well, when we first sat down with Cobo, we found out that they had their standard recycling program in the concourses, which included beverage containers and paper, but there was a significant area that wasn't being addressed with the exhibitors, and that included cardboard, metal banding, and shrink wrap, which you can see on that yellow part up there. So So we sat down with them and drafted a recycling plan and focused on those exhibitor areas. With this focus on the exhibitor areas, it requires the janitorial staff to do something outside of what they're used to doing, which is why we had to create that recycling matrix. Our third goal was to provide an exhibitor contest for environmentally friendly exhibitors. This was a fun topic for us. We started off with a checklist that we sent out to the exhibitors, and like I said, there were over 150. We didn't receive that many responses, but we were excited about the response level we got. And we scored them based on their efforts for energy efficiency, purchasing waste minimization, and purchasing of carbon offsets. They received an award during the conference and got a discount for the 2010 exhibitor booth purchase. And the DEQ was a proud winner of one of these awards. And then our final goal was to encourage attendees to use green lodging to stay at for the conference. This was a 4-day conference. It took place from June 16th to 19th. And in the Detroit area, we found that there were no hotels currently involved with Michigan's green lodging program. So I had met with several of them and focused it down to the Detroit Marriott Renaissance because that is the one that the Cobo Center and AMA had a contract with to provide lodging for this actual event. So they actually went through the process of the application, self-certification, which means going through a whole building, and there were probably 6 pages of lists, marks, checkoffs, and then going through an inspection from DLEG, Department of Economic and Energy and Labor and Economic Growth, and they went ahead and did the actual inspection and certification. So we got that on board pretty much right before the conference. So that was great help in helping us accomplish that goal. Our results. Sponsors and attendees purchased approximately 800 tons to offset the carbon dioxide emissions. This covered the emissions from the hotel, the venue, all our field trips, and some attendee travel. For our recycling, over 2,800 pounds of clean, marketable, recyclable material was sent to NPR Recycling. The whole event had an overall recycling rate of 58%. For the exhibitor contest, we had 3 winners. It was a success and will most likely continue for future AMA events. And for the green lodging, almost all out-of-town attendees stayed at the Detroit Marriott, which, well, like I said, was certified right before the conference. If you don't think one meeting can make a difference, look at these final numbers. I mentioned that at the conference we recycled over 2,800 pounds of materials. 119 pounds of that was from aluminum cans. This is a stat from EPA's website. Recycling 1 aluminum beverage can saves enough energy to run 100-watt bulb for 20 hours, a computer for 33 hours, or a TV for 2 hours. And again, at the AMA conference, we recycled 40 pounds of plastic bottles. Another stat from EPA's website. 5 2-liter recycled bottles produce enough fiber fill to make a ski jacket. 36 bottles make 1 square yard of carpet. So little by little, meeting by meeting, we aren't only reducing our environmental footprint, but we're engraving in people's minds that this is the new way that we're doing business. We're connecting the dots so that attendees, vendors, suppliers, and facilities can start to make a difference in their own worlds. Thank you.